In many videos, I've talked about how I haven't been clear of a manic episode for long enough to say that I'm confident it won't come back in the next year. And it wasn't until I stumbled across this article that I was reading that I realized that more manic episodes and more depressive episodes over time will increase in severity and frequency. And that just kind of blows my mind because I'm just like, you mean the more that I have these, the worse it's gonna get, which just sounds terrible. Like, I don't know if I'm still in that range where it's like, it's still treatable, you can still get out of this cycle sort of thing, because I do know of people in my family that have bipolar that have gotten over it and aren't as affected by severe highs or lows. So, like, I'm hopeful. But at the same time, when I hear about these things happening over time, I'm just like, oh gosh. So, what I was reading in a bunch of different stuff was that it causes cognitive decline over time if left untreated, and that also over time it can cause damage to your brain, which affects like concentration and memory and executive functions. And that's just kind of crazy to me. I think that, I don't know, with everything that I've been dealing with, just on top of that, just my brain not working as well. I also read in one of the articles that bipolar in elderly is tied with increased tendencies to have dementia, which is probably tied with all the cognitive processes declining. You know, it all kind of goes together and builds up over time. So that's not great. And I think that when they say it gets worse faster if left untreated, that means that you're more likely to have the depression and the mania that causes the decline to happen quicker. So that is just a whole new big thing to think about when you're considering your daily life going on with bipolar disorder and just trying to maintain relationships and maintain your school life, your work life, your family life, just everything. On top of that, just knowing that, oh, if you do happen to have a manic episode or depressive episode here or there, your brain's just getting progressively worse. Yeah. Gotta say, people don't tell you these things. Like, I think that my doctor never really told me everything and that there is to know about it. I think I remember a time when I had asked him something about whether I had not taken medications in middle school when it first started happening, like how that would have affected me, and he said it would be a lot worse. So he probably does have an idea of how, you know, medications are actually helping me in the long run by trying to keep me out of these manic episodes and depressive episodes so this doesn't happen. My other thing with my doctor recently that I've been thinking about more, it's been on my mind in the past, but it's just the fact that when I have taken medications and they've worked for a year or whatever, and then I have a bunch of stressors in my life that pushes me into manic episode, my doctor changes my medication right away, or he says it doesn't work. And I understand that when I'm manic, I need more medications like antipsychotics and stuff to bring my mood back down to normal. But then after I'm back down, he keeps me on the different medications and doesn't go back to the medications that were working before, as if he's thinking that the medication didn't work. My point of view on this whole thing is just, it worked for so long, and I think of it as, you know, my moods are going like this, and then when some big stressor comes along, like my mood's gonna want to go like that. And you know, the medication is only like keeping it below a certain line, but when there's so much like pressure coming up on it, it's gonna break through eventually. You know, I can't just avoid mania forever with medication only. I have to learn better stress coping techniques and stuff like that, so that I can better deal with it on my own as well as with the medications. And at this point, I've been with the same doctor for like 11, 12 years, and I don't know how it is for other people with bipolar disorder, so if you want to comment below on your stories with medications, here's my question, is just, are you supposed to find a stable regimen for medications that works for you long term and just stay on that for most of the time if nothing happens? Or is this like a constant changing thing, like when you get in a manic episode you start taking different medications and then it changes again once your mood changes? Because that just sounds like really tedious, and also a lot of extra work and money paying a psychiatrist to make all these changes for you every week or two when you're in these modes. So that was my question. I don't know if any of you have a good answer to that. I'm just really hoping for some insight here on that, because with this whole thing of, you know, lifelong treatments and trying to deal with this for the long term, I think that this is just something important that I should know. And especially with me trying to be more independent financially, I don't want to be having to pay a psychiatrist like $200 every time I see them, and if they're making me see them every 2 or 3 weeks, that's just insane. So yeah, that is my whole little side tangent. I guess I made this video about like long-term effects of bipolar, and then I got kind of carried away by the medication thing, which kind of ties in a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, I think that in general, as long as I don't push myself too hard with different activities or, you know, trying to do too much at a time, that I can stay out of mania. It's just a matter of keeping on top of it and knowing early on when things are starting to happen and preventing them from progressing in that upward or downward direction. So yeah, that is my little video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for my next videos coming up, and I will see you guys later.